You're listening to Raw 1251 AM. The following programme may contain explicit content. If you feel you may be offended, please consider listening to some of our pre-recorded content instead, online at radio.warwick.ac.uk.
Music.
Welcome back to another week of Psychedemics.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to The Vinny Show.
You are listening to Rockstar.
I'm backstage at Casper with Starting to Go. Hello, guys.
Hello. Sports.
There is a team spirit going on behind it. You're all rooting for each other.
Oh, yeah.
Good job, then. That's it. Yeah!
I love the idea of popular films being nominated for Oscars.
I just think the style that Marvel has made has just put them like way above.
Speech.
You must get to the Maths and Stats building using 3 different modes of transport.
Oh my god, there's a trolley.
It's really all about like educating, networking and sharing our stories.
I think the SU has a really important role in engaging students with politics.
News.
Good evening and welcome to The Big Decision.
Ben and Larissa tied.
This is your student radio station.
This is Raw 1251 AM.
That's right, you're listening to Raw 1251 AM, and this is the BandSoc Radio Show. I am your host, Luke Green, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Noah Med. How are you doing, Noah?
I'm doing great, Luke. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, exactly. All festivities are over now.
Yep.
Did you, speaking of New Year's, any New Year's resolutions for yourself?
Yeah, I resolved to be less grumpy.
Less grumpy?
Just generally speaking.
No, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Well, no, I didn't say less critical.
Less critical,
less grumpy.
okay.
I'm going to be enthusiastically critical.
Enthusiastically critical. I look forward to those BandSoc exec meetings then. Yes, so you're listening to the BandSoc Radio Show. We are the radio show dedicated to original music at Warwick University. And with a new year taking a turn, term 2 is here.
2, 2, 3.
And that means one thing and one thing only. Battle of the Bands.
Battle of the Bands.
It is here. It's just upon us. If you don't know what we're talking about, every single year, BandSoc puts on a huge Battle of the Bands competition where all student bands here at Warwick University get to fight it out on stage every single week, and we see who is the best band here at Warwick. The competition's been going on for decades at this point. Mm-hmm. I was over the Christmas holidays, I was looking at the history of BandSoc, and we've got records going back to about the furthest it goes back from what I saw was about 2001, 2002, that era.
No, it went back before that.
I know.
It was into the 90s.
Was that on the list that Emery sent through?
Yeah, on the list. The winners, I think it was like 98 was the first set of
98
of finalists they had.
So as of what we know, BandSoc has been going on. Battle of the Bands has been going on for 25 years. It's the 25th Battle of the Bands this year, people. Possibly.
It might be the 25th.
It might be the 25th.
I hope it isn't, because that would have solved all the marketing problems.
Yeah, we could have done so much.
Could have filled so much space.
hey, the finals are still yet to come. We could do some advertising for that. That's
a good point. I've got the entire term to do some cool content.
Yes. So, Battle of the Bands, the way it works is that this year we have 33 competing bands, and each Thursday throughout this term there will be a gig in the Copper Rooms at Warwick University. So if you're listening and you're a Warwick student and you know what the Copper Rooms is, come along every Thursday. You will be able to come to and see the Battle of the Bands competition. So the way it works is tomorrow we are doing the draw, and the draw is quite an intimidating event because it is the event where you find out who you will be playing against. So there's a lot of anticipation for this draw tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, I mean, do you want to explain a bit, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I can't describe to you the brutality of which this draw will take place. I forgot about it until, like, maybe it was today or yesterday. I remembered that we were going to get drawn, like, randomly, because we've talked about it a lot. And it's possible for you to swap. That's an important thing to know, guys. But only until this Sunday. If you want to swap, you've got to swap by this Sunday. So we've been talking about it a lot between us in the exec sphere.
Yes. Behind the scenes.
Yeah, our mates. And so we've, in my head, it was all like it'll be fine, it'll be whatever. And then I was like, just today I had a little panic. I was like, oh my gosh, what if we just get week one and Mortis get week one and every band that we want to swap with is not, it was, scary.
It could be quite brutal if like three of the best bands are put in one heat.
It's really scary.
Yeah, so essentially the way the draw works is we have a random spinner and you'll be allocated one of 5 heats. So the heats are week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 7. Missing week 6 because of Real Ale Festival, which BandSoc might be performing. Or I say might be, we are performing, but we're still yet to decide the bands. So there are 5 heats. Because there's 33 bands, that means there's 6 to 7 bands performing in each heat, which is a lot of music for one evening. So if you want to come along, it is, I think tickets on the doors are £5 if you're not a BandSoc member and £3 if you are a BandSoc member. So if you want to see 6 to 7 really good live music bands, come along to the Copper Rooms. Copper Rooms 2 for the heats, and then for the semi-finals, which is on it's week 8, and then the finals in Copper Rooms 1, which is week 9. So we're going to quickly play you a band that did well last year in last year's Battle of the Bands. They came 3rd overall out of 30 entries. So you said pretty well.
They did, yeah. Not first, though.
Not first, no. We don't need to talk about that, though. So this band's called Mortis. They released an EP in the summer. This is their song called Warrior Spirit.
You're listening to Raw 1251 AM. The following programme may contain explicit content. If you feel you may be offended, please consider listening to some of our pre-recorded content instead, online at radio.warwick.ac.uk.
Yes, Raw 1251 AM. It is currently nearly it's just 8:15 on a Monday night, and you're listening to BandSoc Radio. So we've just spoken about roughly the layout of Battle of the Bands, which is here, term 2 at Warwick. And we've got the big draw tomorrow, which is going to be on live Instagram at Warwick BandSoc. So if you want to have a look at what the order is going to be, it won't be the final order tomorrow because people will be changing. Because let's say, for example, one of the bands, let's say your band is like, gets put with Feed a Mammoth, you're probably going to want to change your heat because Feed a Mammoth are like one of the favourites to win this year. But we can't have any opinions so far this year, or opinions on this show. It is very much...
we're very non-biased. If you've listened to any of the shows so far, you know that I don't have any opinions on any of the bands. Actually, I think I've been fairly universally critical.
Yeah, we've been all right.
I think I make the most fun of the big bands.
Before we start talking about what our predictions and what we're thinking is going to happen for this year's Battle of Bands, we can have a look back at some of the previous years.
Yeah.
So, Noah, do you want to give us you're doing a project based on last year's Battle of the Bands and this year's Battle of the Bands, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's loosely from last year. It's more of a early... So basically, for those of you who don't know and are listening, I'm making a documentary for this year's Battle of the Bands, provided on the fact that I can get enough footage. So we'll see. If you've got any footage, start sending it in to me. I'll make a Google Drive available on the Discord at some point, and start just dumping all your footage of practice room videos, whatever. Just stick all of it on there. The more footage you give me, the more likely you are to be included in the documentary in a larger way, because I can only deal with what I've got. But yeah, so speaking of last year, it was so exciting. It was the first Battle of the Bands since COVID, and it blew away. I think there was a general view that it might have been a bit rough because no band had really had more than 3 months prep max, and I don't actually remember any like terrible bands.
Yeah, COVID really had a big impact in last year's Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I'd forgotten because I was just thinking before. But yeah, during it, the amount of people who had to drop out because they got COVID was like insane.
Yeah, because it was at the beginning of 2021, so it was very much like it was beginning of 2022, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going from 2021 to 2022. You still had your passports, and
this was the thing. You didn't technically have to isolate.
You still had lateral flow tests.
You still had to isolate. Was it?
No, you still had to have a yes. You still had to isolate if you tested positive and stuff like that, or you couldn't. You weren't allowed in events.
No.
It was towards the end. We weren't. We were free.
It was if you had it. Oh, I don't remember.
It's such a while ago.
I had.
COVID,
I definitely didn't.
What's that? I've never heard of it.
It was. I remember. It was definitely somewhat a BandSoc decision that they wanted to, which is their prerogative. There was definitely a bit towards I think it was the later half they kept it in. Anyway, by the by. There was lots of switcheroos and whatnot.
So it was a bit chaotic, but this year will be more.
Hopefully we'll be a lot more set. You'll know what's coming up. You know who'll be playing. Hopefully everyone who signed up will get to play, and no one has to drop out. I would be surprised if there's no dropouts, but hopefully
it would be nice if there wasn't any dropouts, because you might be put in a heat where you can't actually perform, and then you find out you can't swap with anyone. So sometimes members
happened to me last year.
Have to drop out.
Yeah. And that's when you join exec, guys. So then you have total control. Over what happens in the next year.
No, we are not like that. But
that's exactly why I joined exec.
So, to give you a summary, Battle of the Bands happened last year. The heats were I think overall there was 25 bands that still performed last year in the heats. Yes,
that's a lot.
25 out of the 30. So only 5 bands couldn't perform because of COVID or clashing issues. But essentially, the finals boiled down to 6 bands. Those 6 bands were Deadline Escape, Tide, Maggot Erotica, Mortis, Clearance, and Rattlesnake.
Rattlestonk.
Yes, so those were the final 6 bands. They are the ones that won all their heats. So essentially the way you get to the finals is when we play the heats, the first winning band will go straight to the final. The second band will go to the semi-finals, and then the third band will go into a wild card draw for the semi-finals.
Are we doing wild card this year? I thought there was some discussion that we might not.
No, that would only be if we had to do an extra heat.
Right.
But we're still doing it this year. Yes, so we'll then have the semi-finals. The winner of the semi-finals will then go on to the finals. So we have 6 bands in the finals, 5 of them from the heats, 1 of them from the semi-finals. And Deadline Escape were the band that came from the semi-finals. And the rest of the bands came from the heats. And overall, the winning band was Rattlesnake.
Yeah, Rattlesnake, who were one of the longest standing.
Yeah, so they were one of the few bands that was still established from before COVID.
It wasn't much of a surprise.
No, they were the favourites.
Yeah.
It was quite...
They were really polished as well.
Yeah, going into the competition, you kind of knew they were up there. They like there was a good chance they were going to win because they were the only band that was still about from the previous year.
Yeah, Domestic Love was as well. They were also around from the first year.
Yeah,
it was Taylor's year.
It was Taylor's year.
Your president.
Yes, our president. But this year it's very different. So, to put an end to last year and to look back and see where the levels stand going into this year, we are going to play the winning band Rattlesnake and their live performance of If I Say Yes.
Looking for a bite to eat at the Warwick SU?
Daily specials and fine dining experience at the brand new Canopy.
Karaoke, pub grub and lager on tap at the Dirty Duck.
Salad and sarnies to go in the bread oven.
Or a latte link up at Curiosity.
There's something to suit any taste and any budget.
And if you've got a big night ahead of the Copper Room, start it right at T-Bar.
With speciality cocktails.
Best stock prices.
And our expertly stocked bar overlooking the piazza.
At Warwick SU outlets.
There's something to satisfy every taste.
That's right, there are many things to do at the SU at Warwick University, including coming to BandSoc's Battle of the Bands this term at the Copper Rooms. So, we've given you a brief summary of what happened last year. Anything before COVID is old school.
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
Noah.
Yeah.
Wow. Professionalism at its finest.
What you heard there, guys, is the BandSoc trailer that's just been released on Instagram. Go check it out.
Wow. Yes, exactly. Go to at Warwick BandSoc and you can watch the trailer for this year's competition. It's a pretty nice trailer, if you ask me. It features our finalists last year, Deadline Escape, and their song Eternity, which you can go listen to on Spotify and all streaming platforms. And you can also Deezer it, or whatever it's called. You know when when the thing where you like get a song, Shazam it. That's it. You can not Deezer it. Weezer. Yeah, you can Shazam it. So, this year's Battle of the Bands competition, we've got quite a few bands from last year's competition that are still here, and they've had more time to prepare. So, last year they only had some of the bands went into their heats with only.
Even if you were a
couple months
previous existing band, you really still only had like 3 months.
Yeah, like a couple months of preparation of writing.
Most people had about a week, I think.
Yeah. Whereas this year we've got some bands that have been about for over a year. There's been a few bands that have celebrated their 1 year anniversaries.
Yeah.
And we're now coming to the point where the competition could get quite brutal. Because the music is very polished.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is the difference between last year and this year is, so the draw last year, basically, it was a have you heard this name before competition. So you would spin it and it would say like, I think Mortis was one of it would say like Mortis and everyone would go, ooh, go Rattlesnake, oh, Domestic Love, oh my gosh. Right, having not heard any of this music, like the majority of people had not ever heard them play. Just you were like, whoa, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, because it was. I think it was Rattlesnake and C22 were like the only two bands that like we knew of before. Yeah. They were like the pre-existing bands that were well known, and they were put in the same heat, and everyone was like, oh no, wow.
It was what? Crazy. Which didn't end up being much of a contest there, and then it was like all the big names from this year: Sunnyside Down, Feed the Mammoth, formerly Bloody Hell. I think Mortis had played enough you'd played 2 gigs by that point. So I think people were like, ooh, for Mortis. Maybe who else is Lemongrass? I don't think got a massive response.
I mean, they played 1 gig before, but the main ones were Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
However.
Yeah.
So
this year, hopefully, people will know the bands. There's still lots of unknown bands there, but I think people will sort of know the bands a bit better to understand what the heats are going to look like.
Let me get a list of all the bands that we've got in the competition this year. I'll quickly get it up.
What, you can go through them one by one, give them a rating out of 10.
A rating out of 10. Maybe.
We wouldn't do that to you.
No, but we'll go through the list and we'll give you a bit of a description from what we know of them and give a little bit of an opinion. So, we'll start here. So, the first band on the list is The Bad Charm.
I love The Bad Charm.
The Bad Charm, they're good. They're formerly known as Liquid Lizard. We had them here on the show last term in preparation for the Week 6 gig, which they opened for.
They did.
They did open for, yes. They're very good. They also played Battle of the Cover Bands. They played Moon Age Daydream.
I think they were maybe my favourite Battle of the Cover Bands.
They were one of my most anticipated ones and most favourites, yes.
They definitely had the best song choice.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I can't contest to that. So, next on the list is Lemongrass. They're a band from the previous year.
They've been around. They've been around the block.
They've been around the block. They've also been here on the radio show with us.
Yeah.
With their new release, Delia. They've now got 3 songs on Spotify, from what I remember. It's Come Back to Me, Anecdote, and Delia.
They've got a bit of cheeky charm as well.
Yeah, they're good fun. I've played with them once before. Played with them at Casbah this week, week 4 last.
You're not playing with them for Battle of the Bands, are you?
No. Josh is back.
Josh is back. Oh wait, yes.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I thought you meant Louis back.
Wow.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no. So so I played with them in week 4 at the Casbah gig. They're great fun. I love Lemongrass. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do this year, because they, from what I remember, did they come 3rd in their heat? No, they were in quite a heavy heat, weren't they? They were in heat 6 last year. No, heat 5, and that was the busy one. That was the one with Maggot Erotica.
Yeah.
Arresta came 3rd.
That was.
It was a busy heat.
Were they in the Maggot Erotica one or the? Yes, they were.
They were. Yeah. Okay. Going on from there, we then have the Kellys. Yeah. They're all right.
They're all right.
That's Noah's band. You're the front man for them.
Yeah.
How is it like being front man?
I'm not good at it. I like.
What do you mean you're not good? You're amazing, Noah.
I can move.
You can move.
My body does the talking, but I can't. In between songs, I'm like, who cares? I'm just like, this is another song, and that's it. That's the limit of my stage banter. There's another song.
If you could summarise the Kellys in 3 words, what 3 words would they be?
I can't say them on air.
Brilliant. Okay, if you want to know what those 3 words are, you're going to say them in the heats. I want to hear those 3 words. Next, we have Type 1, who are a new band this year. They're half freshers, half second years.
They've really got themselves involved.
They've done a lot this term.
I think it helped them having 2 second years in there. That a lot of the fresher bands, a lot of the really good fresher bands, we haven't seen them. Yeah. They'll be in the thing, and we'll say these guys were really good. These are really good fresher bands, but they didn't. They took a lot longer in first term to get set up.
Whereas Type 1 were there from the beginning.
Yeah, and so they were so enthusiastic.
Yeah, and my band Mortis, we also played with Type 1 recently at the Horn in St Albans.
Yeah,
and that was kind of like a good glimpse of how their heat performance is kind of going to go.
Did you guys suggest them, or were they?
Yes, we suggested them.
And
Neil,
the promoter was Neil the one who played with that girl at Casbah?
Yes, he is. He was also the president of BandSoc.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
3 years ago now.
Yeah, it must have been. So when Taylor was there. So.
Yeah, so it was before Taylor. Before Taylor was Becky. Before Becky was Jack, and before Jack was Neil.
Yeah. The year before we joined.
Yes. Next up, we've got Feed the Mammoth.
Feed the Mammoth. Enough said. Let's move on.
Yeah, enough said. Okay. Next up, we've got Basilica, who are a thrash metal.
Yeah, not my thing.
Very
They've got a good logo, though. Honestly,
got a good logo.
There's a lot of hate against that logo because it looks like RuneScape. But when you make it just white, I actually really like it. It's one of my favourite logos out of the available ones. It's clear, you can read it. It's cool.
Nice. they're a loud band, but if you love your thrash and your metal, they're definitely one to look out for. Next up, we've got Lava Cake, they were about last year, towards the end of last year.
They were, yeah. That's Tom Giles he was in Just for a Day last year. That's his sort of startup project this year.
Yeah, he's kind of got a nice collection of musicians now in his band.
You could say that.
The bassist is all right.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know. The guitarist, the bassist are a bit so. Yeah.
Well, if you want to know who they are, you got to come to the Heats, people. Next up, we got Dr. Emery and the Funkaholics.
Dr. Emery and the Funkaholics. Did they not? I can't believe they've not changed the name. I implored him to change their name.
They're called the Funkaholics.
They were so good at Kelsey's.
They were really good.
I was like, that is insane. That they scared me. I don't want to be in a heat with them anymore.
They scared you.
Yeah. Well, they came in. So they came in. Our first impression of them was they came in. They were Dr. Emery and the Funkaholics, and they played a really weird cover of Seven Nation Army in like 7 different styles or something.
Yes, they did.
So I thought they were sort of a joke band after that, because it was like sort of a jokey thing to do. No, and then they just came out with a 6 set.
Didn't they also do like a swing version of Smoke on the Water?
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay, not Seven Nation Army.
I think that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Smoke on the Water.
It was just like it was. I mean, it was cool, but it was just sort of like a jokey thing. And then they just came out with a 6 set at Kelsey's.
Yeah,
and we were like, okay,
they
you need a cooler name,
really
like
good.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what they're like I said, come to the Heats, people. We then got 10th Circle, who are a new band.
10th Circle.
They're like a side project.
If you like the popular video game Doom.
Yes, this is very much doom metal from the video game Doom. Essentially, a lot of the musicians who were established last year, this year they've really allowed them. This year's allowed them to do a lot of side projects, and so this is involving Robbie Marlowe from Mortis, who's playing drums. He's usually a vocalist and is playing drums. And you then got
very good
Ed Watson and Joe Crusher from Feed the Mammoth. So you've literally got Mortis, Feed the Mammoth, create a doom metal baby, and that's it.
I don't think there's going to be any vocals. I think they're just going to play like
it's like it's a 15-minute song apparently. Like the sets for Battle of the Bands is 15 minutes, and it's just one song. We then have Shoulder to Shoulder, who are another fantastic band.
I think what you were going to say.
To be fair, if I had a say and Mortis wasn't in the competition, I'd put Shoulder to Shoulder up there.
I would rather win with the Kellys, but just it's. I think Shoulder to Shoulder is going to be the real test of the judges' bias. Because we're just objectively fantastic.
Because at
we came out
Casbah gig, you guys were phenomenal.
Yeah, we were opening. We should have headlined. It was incredible. Yeah. Sent to Luke, who was playing also. That was when you were playing with Lemongrass.
Was it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They only played one gig last term, and it was that.
Was it?
Yeah. It was the same one.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. He couldn't he disassociated because he didn't want to believe the reality.
Believe the reality that I had once played a show with Shoulder to Shoulder. I remember watching you guys. I just don't remember playing afterwards. Although, to be fair, with Lemongrass, I don't really remember a lot of things. So, moving on, we then have Average Speed Check, who are another project band, including myself this time, but is with Ed Webster, who is very well known within the society. He's a very good solo artist who is now doing... he's opening his horizons into different genres. So he is in Shoulder to Shoulder, the sea shanty band, but he's also in Average Speed Check, which is his rock punky...
It's his ones he can't justify playing on an acoustic guitar.
He needs a full band with an electric guitar behind him. So it's very Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jimi Hendrix styled classic rock. it's good fun. So it'll be interesting to see how well that turns out, because we've only had 2 or 3 practices. So depending on what heat we get drawn tomorrow, will depend on the quality of our set. But hopefully we'll do well. Next up, we have Sunny Side Down, who are a band from last year as well.
Yeah.
And who have done phenomenal this year.
They're insane. Objectively, they're the like best, as in like most widespreading.
Yes.
Band in BandSoc.
They're the
most successful. That's what
they have done very well in the social media side of being in a band. They are constantly posting. They're constantly posting to both Instagram and TikTok. Now on Instagram, they just hit 2,000 followers, where they only just hit 1,000 like a week ago.
Yeah,
they're exponentially growing as a band.
It's just, I mean, because the other thing is they write really good choruses. They write good, solid, like you can remember the choruses, as opposed to every other band in BandSoc where you remember how the choruses sound, don't know any of the words. Sunny Side Down, you know the words. They're just really good. There was, what was the thing? I was going to say something. Something about Sunny Side Down, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I mean, Sunny Side Down are very good. So we're now going to play you a song from Sunny Side Down while we take a break from the list, which was only about like halfway through. So this is Sunny Side Down with their Battle of the Bands 2022 performance of their song Only Fiction.
Music.
Welcome back to another week of Psychedemics.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to The Vinny Show.
You are listening to Rockstar.
I'm backstage at Casper. We're starting to go. Hello, guys.
There is a team spirit going on behind it. You're all rooting for each other.
Oh, yeah.
Good job. Well, then that's it. Yeah!
I love the idea of popular films being nominated for Oscars.
I just think the style that Marvel has made has just put them like way above.
Speech.
You must get to the maths and stats building using 3 different modes of transport.
Oh my god, there's a trolley.
It's really all about like educating, networking and sharing our stories.
I think the SU has a really important role in engaging students with politics.
News.
Good evening and welcome to The Big Decision.
Ben and Larissa tied.
This is your student radio station.
This is Raw 1251 AM.
Hello, Raw 1251 AM. You are listening to the BandSoc Radio Show, and the song we had just played was Only Fiction by Sunny Side Down.
Yet to be released. Coming out soon, I think.
It was their 2022 performance at the Battle of the Bands last year, and we are currently reading through the list of the 2023 competitors. We are currently just under halfway through the list, and we last were off with Sunny Side Down. So, moving on from Sunny Side Down, we then have Domestic Love.
Domestic Love.
They're a punk band. I think that's indie punk. I think it's probably the best way to say it.
Probably.
Indie punk's the best way to say it. We had played one of their songs earlier. We opened up the show with their song Bonfire, which is on their EP, which they released recently. It's a 6-song EP.
I love that. I put some comments on that. I think that everyone thought I was being sarcastic. And I was like, I just really loved the fact that they just came basically out of nowhere with I mean, not like out. We knew that, we knew them, and they'd release some other stuff. But I didn't know that they were going to do. They did like a 6-song EP.
Yeah.
Which I realised afterwards that actually Mortis did as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, we announced it like a few days before.
Yeah, they just sort of came out of nowhere with this like a 6-song EP. And granted, one of them was like just a bit of random music. But I just thought that was really cool that they just came out, and also that the art was in the same style as the single. Oh, I just loved it. It was sick.
Yeah, I really like the way they did the single art, where it's like the pictures of some of the members.
Yeah.
In the same sort of style with the name of the. That was a really nice way of doing it. So, yes, Domestic Love, they are competing this year. They've had a few lineup changes. So
it's a bit of a thesis of shit, Domestic Love. There's only like 2 out of 5 members left.
Yeah, it's like Trigger's Broom. Trigger's Broom Band. That is Domestic Love. So, moving on, we then have SBC, who are a new band this year. I think they're a mix of...
They're pretty much all... I think maybe the lowest is second year.
Yeah, they're like a mix of second years. There's a postgrad in there. I think. Yeah, so they're a combination of older students here at Warwick, but they're a new band this year, and they are one to look out for.
They're sort of like a pop, funk, pops.
Pop rock.
It's that sort of. They've got that one song that's identical to Just the Two of Us, so it's that sort of.
I think they're like pop rock indie sort of thing.
Yeah, pop rock with a bit of like a funk. Jazz influence.
Yeah, a bit of fun to them.
Bit of fun.
So they are competing in Battle Bands this year. They are also going to be doing something else with BandSoc, but we haven't announced anything yet. So
very good. I don't know what that is either. So
we will announce that. I think we're announcing that soon, actually. So,
well, I'll find out about that tomorrow, guys. You'll find out about it, whatever.
Yeah, you'll find out before Noah finds out. Next up, we then have Mortis. After Mortis,
moving on.
Yeah, Mortis is
likely going to win. So let's just.
I wouldn't say we're likely to win.
They'll get enough airtime.
They'll get enough. Yeah, we'll get enough time. We'll move on. We then have Aressa, who was a fantastic solo artist this year, but this year she's expanded and she's got a band behind her now. So
Aressa's White Boys,
rather than Aressa and her boys. Brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to see what she does with the band, because I've seen her a couple times doing her solo stuff with the acoustic, but not with a full band. I'd like to see Mr. B with a full band.
I think that she does that solo still.
Oh, does she?
She does some of them solo.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Which I really like.
Next up, we have Planet Bong, who are a new band. They're named after a shop in Leamington. Moving on. We don't have Ed Webster.
Shout out to Sam Rapley.
Sam Rapley. We don't have Ed Webster, the man, the myth, the legend.
Man, the myth, the legend, who has the biggest band
this
in Battle
This
of
might
Bands.
as well be called the Ed Webster Show, let's be real.
It's Ed Webster and the E Street Band. He's got like 8 people in his band for Battle of the Bands. It's insane.
He has done well this year. He's trying to firm
He's made too many friends.
He wants to get on that Copper Rooms one stage. That's what it is. Next up, we then have Ankh, who are a new band. We don't really know much about them.
No, very secretive.
All we know is that their name's Ankh. We then have Leamington Scar, fronted by the wonderful Cosmos Zero.
The only Cosmos Zero.
The one who had won.
The winner
Univision,
of Univision 2022.
Who's going to Surrey, who will represent
what was the most grueling competition in the last 5 years.
Yes. So they're going to be amazing. I can't wait. We then have a new band called Nozdar. They
won Battle of the Cover Bands.
Battle of the Cover Bands. Yes, they did.
Yeah, with The Adults Are Talking by The Strokes.
No, they played Obstacle 1.
Did they?
Yes.
Did they?
Yeah. They played Obstacle 1 by... I'm trying to think of the band's name.
Oh, it's the same singer. This is why I get distracted.
Yeah, it was...
by Inhaler.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yes, so they won Battle of the Cover Bands, which was an amazing event we did last term. Followed up, we then have Homebred, who are a math rock band.
Yeah.
Which is
the Midwest emo.
Midwest emo math rock.
Yeah.
We then have Moonscream, who are a metal band, death metal band.
Progressive death
screaming,
metal
loud music,
They've got a
but
piano.
fun. They're very experimental in their sound. So if you got any perceptions of metal or death metal and you're not quite, you're only thinking of screaming, this is very different and something to look forward to. It's still got the screaming to it, but they've recently done some interesting stuff with the sounds that I'm quite looking forward to.
Exciting.
We don't have Sermon, who are a black metal band.
Yeah.
We don't have Queezer.
Oh, goodness me. Which is,
I don't know what to expect from them.
I was under the impression that was a Weeder cover band.
Yes, but no.
But then they're going to play a competition with all original music.
And they have 7 members.
Ow, what?
7 members.
Okay, maybe it's not the biggest band.
I think Queezer is just the offbeat band.
Yeah.
I think everyone in there's
I mean, when I made for the t-shirt and the trailer, Queezer's logo is the same font as Weezer.
Yeah. I'm going to have to quickly, swiftly move this because we're coming on to the end of the show. But after Queezer, we didn't have Tide, who were finalists from last year's Battle of the Bands. They came 5th overall in the whole competition. We then have 3 Wishes for Jazzy Fishes.
Jazzy Fishes.
One of the coolest names. And to be fair, I really like their logo that you did for them.
I didn't do that. They brought
did it
and it was super high quality. I was so impressed with them.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing them because they did
the best. They were the best Battle of the Cover bands, actually. They just did a medley of. Oh, it was brilliant.
We don't have Midnight Pool, which I don't really know what to expect from. It's a new name for me.
They might be the pop group. Sort of did Valerie and that in the
Possibly.
Jam Nights. I think it's one of them.
Yeah, they're a new band. We then also have another new band called Axolotl.
That's Peter Job of the Bluetooth Vitamins.
Is that Peter Job?
Yeah.
My man. He's a fantastic guitarist. He was in the finals with Deadline Escape last year. We then have the Chaos Collective, who are another new band, followed by another new band called Apollo, and then another new band called
Apollo
Hedge.
Is the pop group. I forget.
And then we are followed at the very end with Medicine, our very own host. So those are the 33 competitors for Battle of the Bands 2023. It was a very long list, and it took a while to go through that because we had so much to say about so many of the bands.
I know.
We've just
literally run out of time. We could have gone on for
could have spoken more about all the bands, and it just shows how competitive this competition's going to be. Like all the bands that are performing this year, there is something good to say about all of them. Mm-hmm. So we really, the draw tomorrow. If you want to watch it,
if you're welcome to come and spectate the draw,
you're welcome to come to it. It's in Oculus OC003, the big lecture hall in the Oculus. It'll be starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow, so if you want to come along, feel free to come along. And then if you are coming along tomorrow, or you fancy coming along, come say hi to myself and Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know that you come from you're one of our raw listeners.
Yeah. Can't be many of you.
What do you mean? No, there must be hundreds.
Because they never respond to our Instagram messages.
That's because
tell us you're out there, listeners.
Tell us you're out there. But yes, so that'll be live on Instagram at Warwick BandSoc, but you can also come in person. And that is the draw for the Battle of the Bands. So that is all we've got to say now for Battle of the Bands 2023. Apart from the big announcement, the wonderful, incredible announcement I've got to say about Battle of the Bands 2023 is that,
of course,
we are collaborating with Raw 1251 AM and Raw Visual.
Insane.
So, the way we are collaborating with them is that for all the heats, we are going to be live streaming the Battle of Bands events on Instagram at Raw Visual on YouTube. My bad. That will be all live on YouTube every Thursday from 7 p.m. So that is the heats. For then the semi-finals and the finals will also be broadcasting on YouTube, but we'll also be broadcasting the competition here on Raw 1251 AM. So if you're a usual listener for the 7 p.m. onwards on a Thursday, you'll be nicely interrupted all to your day by
we're going to ruin what you look forward to every week.
Yes, it's for two nights only. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
but
2 nights of incredible
really,
music
if you want to enjoy some live music, you got to come to the events. Copper Rooms 2 and Copper Rooms 1. Mm-hmm. Look at BandSoc
at Warwick BandSoc.
At Warwick BandSoc. on Instagram. We've got a trailer and everything. We'll also have a trailer on the big screen. But that is it from us today. It's a pleasure to be back here in the studio for Term 2. We'll be back here every single Monday, 8 till 9 p.m. And we will also be interviewing the winners of each heat and the semi-finals.
As many as we can get, at least.
Yes, as many as we can. At least one member from the band.
It'll either be the winner or the semi-finalist.
Yes. So, we want to say thank you very much for listening. We are now going to finish the show off with one of the favourites to win this year. It is Feed the Mammoth with their song Bitter End. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you tomorrow on the Instagram Live at 6 p.m. at Warwick BandSoc, or if not, we'll see you here on next week on Monday, 8 p.m. on BandSoc Radio on Raw 12:51 a.m. Thank you very much. This is Feed the Mammoth with their song Bitter End.